Horizon Coach of the Year in 2022 with a program identity built on resilience and academics. We welcome in now Jason Burr. Jason, welcome to Inside the Game. Oh, we had levels and then we didn't.
Sorry about
us?
that.
Oh, there we go.
You would think with technology, COVID, everything else, we'd have this figured out by now, but obviously not. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, thank you for joining us. And, you know, we were just talking, obviously, with Chris Fox from Bowling Green State University. We've had a chance to talk with a number of coaches throughout the Horizon League and MAC, and we're having a blast while we're doing it. And so the first thing I want to ask you is this, Jason, is talking about the dynamics of soccer right now in this country. What has been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome here since starting in 2014 with Purdue Fort Wayne?
That's a great question. I think as it relates to Purdue Fort Wayne specifically, you are in a situation where you have a relationship with the main Purdue campus over in West Lafayette, Big Ten campus. And when I first got here, we were known as IPFW, which was Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne, which was a mouthful back then. So I'm glad we don't have to go through that any longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, hey, now that's the one down in Indy, so that they're different from us.
I know.
Yeah. So with that, I think that was probably the biggest thing that we've had to deal with in my time here at PFW is kind of explaining what that meant to recruits, their families, knowing that they could get a different degree depending on which direction they went. And so that explanation was always a challenge for us when I first got here. But then when things got streamlined and we went directly with Purdue University and that solved a lot of those issues, I think that simplified a lot of the chaos that we had on our campus. Having said that, I think nationally, as it relates to the game and everything that's going on with college soccer right now, you deal with the transfer portal that has become a major influencer for a lot of programs nationally. It actually is not something that we deal with a lot here at Purdue Fort Wayne, and we can get into later, but between that and now the house settlement and NIL and everything that comes along with that, the landscape is drastically changing. And I think coaches day by day, week by week are trying to figure out how to navigate those changes. But those two things have probably been the biggest obstacles and hurdles that we have faced over the last several years as college coaches.
How does that change the way you approach players or that you go about getting players to come to your program?
Everything we talk about with recruits, with our current players, everything is relationship based. And so if you look at the history of our program, we have lost very few players. I think we've lost 2 on the transfer portal going to other programs to play and continue their career. So it's very rare that we have players that leave our program to go somewhere else and continue their college soccer career. And in turn, we actually don't bring a lot of players into our program from the transfer portal. It's something that, again, for us, building that relationship with players during their club and high school careers, getting to know who they are as people, letting them into our program before they even step foot on campus is something that has been very important to us. So honestly, as it relates to the transfer portal, we're always going to keep an eye on things. There are players that we've recruited out of club that college coaches are always told no way more than they're ever told yes as they go through that college recruiting or that recruiting cycle with recruits. But with that being said, the relationships that we are building with those recruits, their families, the club connections and high school connections that we have, that's something that, again, we don't have to deal with on a very big level. And again, when our players get here, our current players on our campus, that relationship is something that is very important to us. We aren't the type of program that are always just looking for that next group of player, that next group or crop of players to come in and help improve our program. We're looking to continue to build and strengthen the relationships we have with the current players. And I think that affects what they do when they leave our campus and the relationship that we have with those players when they become alums of our program.
Oh, and you've been here for a long time too, now over a decade in this position, and I think that's really impressive, especially when you consider you've been to a lot of different places. At first I had to mention, you won a national championship at Lindsey Wilson. I graduated from an NAIA program. I love my NAIA people, and it's cool to see them obviously go on and have success at higher levels. But Western Kentucky, Thomas More, Illinois State, Arkansas State, Northern Illinois. I mean, you've been a lot of different spots, and now you've obviously been here since 2014. What has it been about this program, this place, this community that's kept you in this chair for as long as you have?
It's a lot of positive change. A lot of positive momentum has been occurring in the city of Fort Wayne in general. On our campus,
Yeah.
we have a lot of growth and development. It seems like most of you guys are from Michigan, so we'll give you a little bit of credit. I think Fort Wayne is trying to emulate a lot of those medium-sized cities up in
Yep.
Michigan, like Grand Rapids and places like that. So I think there's a lot of positive growth. We're bringing a lot of big corporations into the city. But having said that, I think Fort Wayne is the type of place that there are a lot of locally owned stores, restaurants, bars, cafes. It's not a big chain type city, even though they've got 300,000 people. They focus all their energy with minor league sports teams, and we've got a lot of great concerts that come through. So it's just been a really thriving city. That's something that I was always looking for. I've enjoyed my time when I was at Northern Illinois and I was in DeKalb, Illinois, and in that college town. That was great. Jonesboro, Arkansas, at Arkansas State, college town. It was great. Normal, Illinois for Illinois State. Like those college towns are incredible. But for me, I tend to enjoy being in a medium-sized city where you've got a lot going on and there's a lot for your student athletes to be able to do. And so we have great support from the city for our university. We're the one Division I program in Northeast Indiana, and so we're able to hang our hat on that. And we get a lot of support from the city of Fort Wayne, but there's a lot for our students to do besides just traditional frat parties and go to the same places. It's a good time for our players to be able to be in a safe environment and have a lot going on. So there's that growth, but I think you're seeing a lot of that same growth within our university as a whole. We are completing building a brand new residence hall on our campus, which has been something in the works going on 5 years now. We have been overbooked with our housing for a long time. And so that's a really great, exciting new project on our campus. We're building a new music tech building on our campus. We've got nursing programs coming back to this campus. We have an aviation program through the relationship with Purdue University that we're bringing onto campus starting next year. So there's a lot of positive growth and momentum with everything that's going on in our campus and within our athletic department as well. We've got great leadership. Kelly Hartley Hutton, our athletic director, is a former head women's volleyball coach here. And so having a coach that is your athletic director, I think there's a lot of support from our leadership and from the top down. And so last year was the first year that every team in our athletic department competed for their Horizon League tournament or any conference tournament in the history of the department. So there's a lot of positive growth and momentum, and we're having a little bit of a struggle this year for a number of different reasons, but it's been a great role the last several years in our program and through the athletic department. And those things really are just a very exciting thing to be a part of for me and our staff and our players.
We talk about this all the time. The Horizon League is such a very competitive league. We a lot of times see down to the last day of the season, where anyone could make it into the playoff picture, right? And last year you finished kind of middle of the pack, right? You finished with 12 points. You're 4-6 in the Horizon League, and again coming down to that last day, right? That last day of the season. As a coach, when I think 6 teams go in, right, in the Horizon League. So knowing, that it comes down to the last day and every game is so important, how do you as a coach manage that environment? Because not every league is like that. And I'm not saying that sometimes you have home and away, right, where you're going to play 2 times and you actually have a chance to get back into things. But with one game on the road or one game against another opponent and that's it limits your chances really to down the road to maybe to get to where you want to go. So talk about that for a second.
Yeah, it's an extremely competitive conference. I came here. I did a quick stop at a Division III Benedictine University in between being here in Northern Illinois, and I think the MAC, there's a lot of similarities there with that as well. That um, those conferences are very tight in our league. Everyone's chasing Milwaukee. There's no secret about that. They've won the league title the last 7 years. I think it's something like the last 13 of the 15 years they've won the league title. So everyone's chasing Milwaukee in our league, but we've had some programs that have done some great things. You look at Northern Kentucky and the stability that Bob Sheehan has brought to that program over the years, and making the jump from Division II to Division I and continuing the success that they had at that level. Devin up at Oakland is starting to try to turn that program around. But yeah, any given day in our league, anyone can beat anyone. And I was just talking to Kevin Boyd at Milwaukee this weekend. We were just up in Wisconsin doing the Milwaukee Green Bay little cycle. But with that being said, it's a very tough league. It's a very demanding league, but one of the things I really like about it, and I think that makes us a little bit unique as a conference, is our scheduling isn't just Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. So you're going to be on the road for every Thursday, Sunday, or home for every Thursday, Sunday. This weekend, as an example, we travel up to Oakland for a Saturday game. And so there are some in-conference opportunities where you're going to have a single game week and you get to focus all of your and all your enthusiasm on that one game. And I think, again, that's what happened to us last year. We went into that last game and we needed a result against IU Indy in the last game of the season. We end up with a 3-0 win at home, and it propelled us into the league tournament. And that was the third time in 4 years, which has never happened in program history. So it's something we're really proud of. But something that I think makes the league very, very exciting for people to keep up with is every season there's someone new that's doing something that you're not expecting. Wright State for me this year is a program that Travis Sobers has done a great job with his team and organizing them and getting them into a position to be a top 3 or 4 team in the league, which I don't know that a lot of coaches in the region saw them coming the way that they did. And so it's been very exciting, and I'm hoping we can make a run like we did last year and continue to propel ourselves into that Horizon League tournament at the end of the season.
Well, so fun fact, you're coming into Michigan here on Saturday at 7 o'clock against Oakland. I will be on the broadcast. I'll be play-by-play here this Saturday. So, which is our parent company, Premier Media Group, is the production company that does the production for ESPN Plus for Oakland University, as well as Detroit Mercy. Now we just signed that contract there 2 weeks ago. So, so we take over all broadcast. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Loving the horn today.
Hey, just give us some shout outs.
That's right. It's right. So talking about, we've talked a lot about things kind of on a broad level. And I kind of want to drill down for a second, because I think that when we talk to a lot of coaches, and we've talked to a lot here the last 2 weeks, we've talked with coaches who, on a lot of levels, have had either long-term success, consistent success, sustained success, and whatnot. And you just alluded to, obviously, the season right now not going the direction that you'd want. If you painted, hey, at the beginning of the season where I wanted to be right now, you probably wouldn't say right where you are right now. Along the way, it's about building up and creating and things like that. But a lot of times we don't have a chance to talk with coaches about the stressful aspect of going through the ups and downs of being a coach. And I had a chance here a few months ago to talk about the mental health aspect of coaches, and how a lot of times coaches are kind of in their own world, right? And you're oftentimes thinking about the players, about the program. I'm curious, from your current perspective right now, how are you doing? And more importantly, how do you handle yourself when you get through these tough moments as a coach during the season?
For me, I think honestly, it's always about supporting the people that I'm around. I was raised in a military family. My dad was in the Army. My mom, while she worked a little bit, was pretty much a stay-at-home mom. And she was a little bit more of the authoritarian of our family and would crack the whip a little bit. But I think being raised in that environment, it gives you a different perspective and a different ability to look at things and what those struggles really mean. And yeah, it's difficult. We're all very competitive people. We all want to win every single game. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of bigger concepts that we try to kind of relate to our players and remind them about, and finding the joy in things. Right now this season, we're kind of calling it finding our yellow. It's just kind of an inside thing with our coaching staff, but it's something that we're just trying to find those happy moments as we go through the season and the things that we can celebrate. And so while the results aren't coming right now, I think it's about when we're on the field, finding those moments that we're competing at the level that we know we're capable of competing at. And Milwaukee, as an example, had a very challenging non-conference season. They go into the league with a losing record, but everyone in the league kind of knows that you're going to be up against it when you go up and you play against Milwaukee. And I think we had the first half of that game was the best 45 minutes of soccer we've played all season, and we held them to 9 shots in that half. I think defensively, that's always kind of what we've been built around, is being a strong defensive team, staying organized, pressing really hard, giving everything of ourselves when we're on the field. And our team did that against Milwaukee and made things very challenging for them. I think in the second 45 minutes, they came out and it changed a little bit, but we were really proud of that 45 minutes. And we talked to our players a lot about that. Same thing, Green Bay, really hard fought 90-minute game. We end up giving up a losing goal in the last minute of the game. And that's very difficult and it's challenging. But I think it's for our players about realizing that we played 89 great minutes of soccer, and how do we complete that last part of it to make sure we're getting results on the road, which is a very difficult thing for any college program, is to go get results on the road. And so we're trying to find those moments. And again, for me, I think being raised in a different environment than most others, it just gives me a unique perspective to know that we've got soldiers out there risking their lives for our country and for the person next to them. And while that is what it feels like sometimes for us, at the end of the day, we're doing something that we love and that we're passionate about and that we find joy in. And I think it's important to always reflect on that, even when things are going really, really difficultly or really poorly. We've got to remember the reason why we started getting involved in this game when we were that 4, 5, 6-year-old kid, and the joy that we had when we were out on the field. And while it can be difficult sometimes, I think it's important to reflect on that when things aren't going extraordinarily well.
I think perspective is really important, and I think it's important that you mentioned that. And it's easy to forget about that too. You know, you're playing a game, and that's, you know, at its very core is something that's a great thing to do. It's great to have the privilege to be able to do that. Even with what we do, getting to talk to coaches and cover different teams. You know, yeah, there are stressful elements to it, but could be a lot worse. It always could be a lot worse. So I think that's always important to remember and keep in the back of our heads. As we start to wrap this thing up, we always ask coaches this question, and I do think it's funny because we travel to a lot of different places. So it's good to have in the back of our head where we should go to get the best food in certain areas. Now, I know you've been all over the place, right? You've been to different parts of the country. So depending on where you've been, there's a different answer to this question. But in Fort Wayne, and I've been down there a few times because I do professional baseball. The Fort Wayne Tin Caps are in our league. So I've actually been down a handful of times. I love that area. Love the ballpark. Love the downtown. It does remind me of Grand Rapids a little bit for sure. But what's your favorite spot to go get some food in Fort Wayne?
You know, my favorite spot, like, there's a place called The Landing now. It's a new area in downtown Fort Wayne. They've got a lot of different restaurants down there. The one that I prefer, I love Mexican food. So there's a place called Mercado down there that's absolutely incredible. But I think I'd be remiss. I'm not an Indiana native, but obviously we're known for our pork tenderloin here in Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
There's a restaurant called Don Hall's. There's a few locations around the city of Fort Wayne, but apparently have incredible pork tenderloin sandwiches. So you're going to make a trip to Fort Wayne, I would say hit The Landing, or maybe go to Don Hall's and get yourself a pork tenderloin sandwich.
I got a savvy slider the last time I was down there. I did a little Midwest League food tours. Those were pretty good too. I mean, it was a little place, but I loved it. So home of the slider too, apparently.
Gotta love it. I mean, that, you know what? Fort Wayne is a place of hidden little gems. It's incredible.
That's exactly it.
Well, Jason, we appreciate you stopping on by here today and being a part of this. We wish you and the Mastodons much success here the rest of the way, and I will absolutely be seeing you guys on Saturday at 7 p.m. at Oak University.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Jonathan, look forward to seeing you this weekend and appreciate the time, guys. Oh, by the way, definitely yes, pineapple on pizza, 1,000%.
Yeah, hey, my guy right there.
Wow. Just dropped a bomb.
It's a great. See, it's great because again, now do you like barbecue sauce on that as well? Because I know that the traditional pineapple pizza might have barbecue sauce instead of the pizza sauce.
No, so I'm a big spicy guy. So throw some jalapenos, some pineapple, just regular pizza outside of that, and you get a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spice. It's perfect.
Sweet, savory, and spice. That's what I'm saying. You get the combo of everything. It's perfect.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Love it, love it, love it. Jason, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and good luck here the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the time. Have a great day.
You too.
Yes, sir.